Chapter 1. Sunday, 22nd of January 2023. The Southern Ocean. A powerful, streamlined boat ploughed its way southward through heavy grey seas. The vessel, a New Zealand registered sport fishing boat, the Antarctic Truth, was heading due south. Current position approximately 350 miles off Campbell Island, New Zealand. Latitude 59 degrees, just 7 degrees shy of the Antarctic Circle. Aboard were its 3 crew members, 57-year-old skipper Jerry Taylor, his nephew Brett Tawari, and Brett's girlfriend Janine Morrison. All 3, residents of the South Island town of Invercargill, had sailed out 24 hours earlier on a clear, calm January summer morning from Bluff Harbour, the most southerly port in mainland New Zealand. Jerry Taylor's normal day aboard the Antarctic Truth at this time of year involved taking big game anglers marlin and bluefin tuna fishing in the turbulent waters off Stewart Island. But this time, as well as a good selection of fishing tackle, the 60-foot Bertram 61 was heavily laden with 10 days' food supplies, sufficient diesel to travel over 3,000 nautical miles, and plenty of winter clothing. Though capable of much higher speeds, Jerry was keeping the Truth at a steady 18 knots to conserve fuel and enable a smooth, level passage through the heavy swell. "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel was blaring out from the Bluetooth speakers strapped to the bulkhead. Taylor absolutely loved Billy Joel, much to the consternation of his 2 younger companions, and, as skipper, felt he was entitled to dictate the playlist for the voyage. Janine, completely oblivious to Joel's warbling, was scouring the horizon through her binoculars, whilst Brett was down in the galley cooking breakfast. The smell of eggs and bacon wafted up from below, nectar to Jerry's nostrils after a long night at the wheel. He inhaled deeply. Boy, was he looking forward to this, when he was rudely awakened from his fry-up euphoria by Janine shouting from the stern. "We're being followed, Jerry, and they're closing," she exclaimed, trying her very best to sound calm. "What a fucking surprise, eh, Jan?" "Not," replied Jerry, outwardly unconcerned, but inwardly feeling anything but. The pursuing boat was moving fast, very fast, quickly catching up with the Antarctic Truth and eventually pulling alongside. Its markings and livery revealed it to be the UN gunboat Shackleton, an intimidating state-of-the-art fighting machine that would not have been out of place on the front line of any naval conflict. Antarctic Truth's radio crackled briefly and then burst into life. "Antarctic Truth, this is the UN gunboat Shackleton. Turn around and head back north immediately. Over." "This is Antarctic Truth, Shackleton. Why?" "We're only heading out for some whale watching and fishing. Over." Janine, in control of the radio, tried to sound as nonchalant as she could, but failed to disguise the slight tremble in her voice. "Antarctic Truth, you are about to enter restricted and forbidden waters, contrary to the 1959 Antarctic Treaty. Over," came the unequivocal response. "And?" "Over." "You are posing a serious risk to international security," snarled the Shackleton's captain sternly. "And if you do not return immediately, we cannot guarantee your safety. Over." "Which means over?" There was no mistaking the menacing tone or the intent behind it. However, Janine was still, despite her trepidation, trying to bluff her way out of what was rapidly becoming a thoroughly sticky situation. Meanwhile, Brett, picking up this exchange from down below, abandoned his cooking duties temporarily and climbed up on deck, looking deeply concerned, an expression which was shortly to turn into blind panic. "We shall be forced to destroy your vessel and attempt to rescue any survivors. Over," came the stern declaration from the gunboat. "But what harm are we doing? Over," Janine pleaded. The Shackleton skipper was evidently in no mood to discuss anything. "I am not interested in a debate about this," he barked. "Turn around now, or we will use reasonable force. Over." "We know all this Antarctic Treaty stuff is just bullshit, so why don't they?" Janine asked her 2 companions. "Well, if it were my job to blow innocent people out of the water," replied Brett, "I'd certainly have looked into the reasons and the history behind it. But psychos like that don't care. They just blindly follow orders." "Yeah, mate, most people just do as they're told and don't ask questions, so why should these bastards be any different?" Jerry added, increasing the Truth's speed slightly. "Well, I don't reckon they mean it." Janine's defiance was becoming ever more apparent. "Ignore 'em, I say." "Antarctic Truth, this is your final warning. Turn around now. Over, announced the Shackleton menacingly. Okay, guys, hold on tight, shouted Jerry, increasing speed rapidly, the Truth's bow rising sharply from the water. Brett and Janine grabbed hold of the rail firmly, worry and anxiety etched on their faces. The Shackleton responded by speeding up, effortlessly gaining on them. That is a serious piece of kit, thought Jerry, realizing very quickly that their chances of outrunning the gunboat were slim to non-existent. The sound of gunfire then filled the air as the UN vessel fired a salvo of warning shots across the stern of the Truth, ripping the flag to shreds and splintering the gunwale. "Shit!" exclaimed Brett. "They mean it, Jerry. Turn around, now!" "Nah, Brett, they won't do it," countered Jerry, somewhat unconvincingly. "They're bluffing." "They fucking will do it, Jerry, I'm telling you," screamed Brett. "For Christ's sake, man, turn around now. I reckon—" "Look, don't panic, Brett. It's a bluff," said Jerry, cutting him short. "I'm telling you, they're bullshitters. What do you reckon, Jan?" "I reckon they're bluffing too, Jerry," replied Janine. "Let's try and outrun them." Jerry increased throttle to the Truth's maximum 36 knots, resulting in the Shackleton increasing its speed accordingly. On the bridge of the Shackleton, Captain Ed McMaster and First Mate Colin Williams stared at each other in disbelief. "The stupid bloody idiots. They don't believe us, Williams. Full throttle, guys. They mean business, this lot." Within a minute, the gunboat had reeled in the distance between it and the Antarctic Truth, and was soon speeding alongside her, 100 metres to starboard, its torpedo fully armed and ready for action. "Prepare to fire," ordered McMaster to the crew manning the torpedo tubes. "We've wasted enough time on these fools."